all the attendees to the webinar. So we have till now like 10 to 11 attendees. So we'll wait for some more attendees to join and start the session. First of all, thank you to all the attendees who are joining. I hope you are not getting any issues in joining. It's a simple Zoom platform which we are using, and this online session, which it's a new normal. So we have total now, it's 18 attendees. We'll wait for 2 to 3 attendees and we'll start in 1 minute. There's a chat box. You can put up your thoughts, your questions in the chat box in the Q&A session. It can be an interactive session. And we promise you the most, promising and very enlightening session today. Yeah, we have 19 attendees with us. Good morning, Shrikant sir is saying to everyone. Okay, so we have reached our number. So I think so we can start with our session. So formally, good morning and a hearty welcome to one and all. Welcome to the webinar, Building a Strong Cybersecurity Ecosystem in Government Agencies, presented by SMEVenture and Sophos. My name is Yasmin Khan, your host for the day from SMEVenture. Government departments are trustworthy and a huge place of data, systems, and many devices. These departments are the connecting point for private institutions and the masses. Due to this, it is a prime target for cyber attacks. With the transforming digital world, the risk and the misuse of the technology makes it essential for the government to fight back against the cyber attacks by building a strong cybersecurity plan. So in today's session of an hour, we'll deep dive into cybersecurity for the government. And for this, we are honored to have our keynote speaker, Inspector General of Police at Government of Maharashtra, Mr.Brijesh Singh sir. We also have our plenary speaker with his enlightening session, Enterprise Account Manager with Mr. Hitesh Raul sir. At the end of the session, we'll be conducting a small quick game and top 3 winners will be getting an exciting rewards. So stay tuned till last, and each attendee will also get a participant token of appreciations once you fill the feedback form. So today on the panel, we also have Sophos team, that is Anupam sir, Tapan sir, Shrikant sir, Rohan sir, Isak sir, and Chaitra ma'am. So welcoming all. Before we start, let me introduce and welcome Mr. Ashish Sood sir, Director of West India Sophos for context setting. Mr. Ashish sir.
Thank you, Yasmin. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to speak here among you. Thank you once again for taking out precious time on Thursday morning and join us here for this webinar. Okay, so I want to apprise you of the quantum of the cybersecurity challenge we face as a nation. For that, allow me to share some facts with you. According to business and consumer data company Statistica, in financial year 2021, that is just last year, over 3.8 thousand government services in India were provided over internet. A CLSA report indicates the value of digital payments in India will grow threefold, close to 1 billion in FY26, from $300 billion in FY21. Deloitte study has said India will have 1 billion smartphone users by 2026. And currently we have 1.2 billion mobile subscribers in 2021, of which 750 million are on smartphones. And as of January 2021, we have 448 million social media users in India. A DBS Digital Readiness Survey revealed 62% of large and middle market companies are still in formative stage of digitization in India. So they are yet to join their digital journey. Imagine when they join, how much of the amount of digitization we'll have in India. The government's ongoing Digital India push and Reserve Bank's planned central bank digital currency may only add to the list of vulnerabilities that we already have. These are big numbers and point to the vastness of the cyberspace that India has to secure. The country is also witnessing numerous cyber attacks in past, including many soft ones. And if you remember what happened in October 2020 in Mumbai, on 1st March 2021, a massive revelation, a Massachusetts-based company, Recorded Future, has issued a report stating that Chinese government-linked group of hackers had targeted India's power grid, possibly leading to the Mumbai power outage that we faced in our city. And the bad news is, Business Standard in December 2021 reported that India was expected to be among the largest victims of cyber attacks in 2 years. Cyber attacks were projected to increase 200% year on year. And we all know what is happening in geopolitics these days. With the nature of the war in Ukraine indicates that India needs to review its cyber defense policies. The country also needs to give equal attention to building deterrent cyber offensive capability. The government is taking too long to come out with the national cybersecurity strategy. I think that's the need of the hour. And keeping that in mind, Sophos is committed to securing India. We have launched our local cloud instance in India at Mumbai on 17th of March. And this will be formally be inaugurated by Minister of State, Honorable Rajiv Chandrasekharji in Delhi in first week of May. So without further ado, now let me introduce our keynote speaker today, Mr.Brijesh Singh, who is Inspector General of Police at Government of Maharashtra. He has been performing his duties diligently for the government for last 25 years. He's a cybersecurity expert, and with his great expertise in cybercrime, I know he has solved numerous cases. He's expert on privacy law, cyber attacks, and policies. And apart from that, he's an ardent speaker. Mr. Singh, over to you.
Thank you. Ashish, to begin to directly deep dive into the subject, actually, I would take the Mumbai power failure with a pinch of salt. So, if you look at the official government reports, the presence of malware on systems doesn't actually mean that this malware was actually executed, right? So also, these reports sometimes are more like a promotional venture by companies. So while we talk about critical infrastructure, we should see what is there on ground in reality, and not generally, just depend upon what some New York Times is writing or some company is claiming that it has found.
Point well taken, sir.
Yeah. However, this brings to our attention that government is targeted, and government is uniquely targeted, and the responsibility of government systems is very different from corporate systems, because government is a repository of public trust. So you need to have a lot of trust in government systems, because you are dealing with more serious matters. I mean, it's not just an aspect of food delivery or probably logistics or booking an airline ticket. Here, government basically is concerned with everything that a citizen does: life, liberty, his welfare, and safety, security, everything. So if a government database is breached or government is hacked, then the effects can be multifarious. Generally, it is, I'm sorry to say that generally it is not probably understood very well in the government systems that government systems are targeted. Also, the range of adversaries which the government has is very different. So the kind of adversaries which may be targeting, let's say, a private food delivery system would be very different to what may be targeting the public distribution system of food grains in the government. And generally, the nature of adversary which attacks the government is more sophisticated. So you may actually look at nation-state groups. You may look at activists. You may look at malicious insiders. So these people are slightly better resourced and more motivated than the general garden variety script kiddie who's just firing a panel and trying to log in. Also, that nation-state groups and activists have custom malware, and even organized cybercriminal gangs have custom malware which they build, and it is very difficult to protect yourselves against this. Now, it would be interesting for everybody to note the cyber kill chain methodology, which has been given by I think Lockheed Martin. It talks of 7 steps. Now, these 7 steps, starting right from the recon to exfiltration, are actually very modular. And in the cybercrime world and in the adversary world, these have been taken to heights of specialization. So those who do recon, they do only recon. Those who do exploit development, they do only exploit development. Those who do malware delivery, they do only malware delivery. So, and this world being modular, it has also given rise to a whole ecosystem where these services can be purchased. Now here what you see is that the bad guys are collaborating. The bad guys can, if he wants a piece of malware to attack, a payment system, he can just deep dive into the dark web and start asking for these services on a dark web forum and probably get it by evening, while the defenders have a difficult task. And the government especially is difficult to defend because I would say this, and though it would seem extreme, but I would say that the government cybersecurity has much to learn from what exists in corporate. So the understanding of cybersecurity, the understanding of cybersecurity implications, the understanding of cybersecurity nitty-gritties is probably not of the highest standard within governmental systems. This happens due to various reasons, because one is procurement policies. So the government procurement policies are the same. Whatever procurement policies are similar for a bag of cement and probably an intrusion protection system, an intrusion detection system. Now, somewhere we will have to sort out technology procurement. And also, once we sort out technology procurement, you have to look at delays. Because in government systems, if you have to purchase a large setup, then it would take months, if not a year, to procure something like that. So procurement is one thing which we absolutely need to sort out for government cybersecurity. Second is that we will need to have specific policies. Now, these policies can be, for example, if you look at debate in Europe and in America, on the national scale, these are around dangers of backdoors and 5G technology. And these have nation state implications. Like if all your routers are being manufactured in China, then tomorrow in event of a geopolitical disturbance, China would have a huge advantage. And US and Europe have understood it very well. Somewhere we have to understand this and we have to counter this. Counter this not just by saying that no more Chinese components, but probably the way Europe has done. Europe has set up a common criteria testing lab at the cost of the Chinese. And it's a third-party lab. They say, bring your ware, open it here, get it tested to level 7, and then sell it to us. And the Chinese are paying the cost for that. I mean, they are ready to do that. If we directly start taking these systems, as an aspect of procurement and as an aspect of policy, we will have to be ready for the dangers. So somewhere we should understand that it is very important to have policies regarding procurement, policies regarding technology acquisition, policies regarding understanding what to procure and how to procure. Because even this is a specialist job. For example, if you write any specs, there would be 20 people in the market who would, sell the same thing from 5 rupees to 5 lakh rupees, and everybody would say that I comply. Now, do we have understanding of creating test beds to actually check this? Do we have any, standard specifications, certifications, benchmarks through which we can acquire this kind of technology? So this all will have to be thought over, especially within the government systems. Then it comes to prevention. So generally prevention efforts are around awareness, but the social engineering, I should say technology is evolving so fast that whatever you teach your people, the social engineer is going to craft something better. is because the attack is psychological. He will make it very contextual. He'll make it contextual to the Ukraine war. He'll make it contextual to budget. He'll make contextual to your income tax return filing, so on and so forth. And especially with spear phishing kind of and whaling kind of attacks, they would target high value government accounts. And given the scale of cybersecurity awareness in senior government servants, I think it would be actually an easier target to send them a phishing mail and compromise government and other systems. It happens in corporates also. So somewhere we will have to understand that these important accounts have to be protected appropriately through policy measures and also through cybersecurity practices and measures, and also awareness is definitely a part of it. Now, even if this happens, there would be attacks and there would be successful attacks. The thing is that what do we have in place for incident response? I think this is one area which people are lacking, especially in the government. We are lacking proper incident response procedures. Now, even if you have incident response procedures, what are the capabilities for incident response? Like, what are the capabilities for, DFIR? What are the kind of certifications we are following? What kind of standards we are following? Like, if you look at the banking and fintech industry, they have very clear standards, PCI DSS and other standards. We should come up with a set of governmental standards, that these are the standards for government systems. These are the specifications we should maintain in case of a breach. This is how should be a standard operating procedure, and this is how and people will react, and these are the dedicated resources to react. Having said that, periodic tests should be held. I mean, you can simulate that. You can do a tabletop exercise and have a cyber crisis management plan in readiness. Most organizations would have a cyber crisis management plan, but it's on paper. It has to be tested in reality, because once it hits you, then you don't know whom are you talking to. That you have so many people, right from your customers to your own regulators, to law enforcement, to government, to press, to your own company hierarchy or to your own government hierarchy. You would have to answer everybody. So somewhere a cyber crisis management plan is to be ready, and it has to be tested. And it can be done, with a tabletop exercise. Now, what is also essential is to understand where your crown jewels are. Like, depending upon if you are a municipal agency, if you are a police organization, if you are a particular government department regarding health, you will have to also be careful about what kind of data you are handling, what kind of sensitivity does that data have. Very soon we will have the Personal Data Protection Regulation Act, PDPR. PDPR is going to be very, very stringent like GDPR. And you have to understand that data subjects would have different rights. So the government will also have to prepare for PDPR and GDPR. This also involves aspects of cybersecurity, but this also involves aspects of policy wherein you understand whether you are a data controller or a data processor, and what are your liabilities and how do you adhere to, let's say the 9 principles mentioned in AP Shah committee and also the Puttaswamy judgment. And how do you minimize collection? How do you justify that collection? How long will you keep that data? What is the data life cycle? This involves issues like what kind of encryption you will be using, and so on and so forth. So I believe that there's a need of cybersecurity education within the government, especially those people who are dealing with this. And it's not just education; it is building capacity to understand what is hitting you, building capacity to understand how to stop it, how to respond to it, how to recover. And this is not easy. This is going to take resources. So if you look at the cybersecurity outlays, I think they are low. The cybersecurity outlay and spending should increase. Many states have come up with a stipulation that 10% of the IT budget will go to cybersecurity. And more states should follow. 7 states have done it in India. More states should do, because government is going to be the biggest purchaser of IT systems and most attacked entity also. So it is time that, government understands cybersecurity in its granularity, and it would make great sense to develop internal teams, because the way internal teams would understand your own assets and vulnerabilities, others would find it very, very difficult. You can outsource your cybersecurity, but you can't outsource your risk. So somewhere you'll have to develop internal team, internal capabilities. It may be limited, but you'll have to develop that. Apart from that, there's a great scope for innovation. That till at least a year back, there were hardly any, great cybersecurity developments coming from our academia. So I see that now there are courses which are being started about cybersecurity, but I had a chance to deep dive into one or two of them, but they are very, very basic, because things unconnected and theoretical will not help you. It's like, studying 1 year about judo, karate, and going out there to fight. It doesn't work like that. You have to have practical experience in dealing with real life things and systems. So I feel that government is a space which is highly vulnerable. It is attacked by very sophisticated actors. The understanding of cybersecurity in government needs to be improved. We need to develop in-house capabilities. We need to innovate. We need to increase our cybersecurity outlays. We need to set in place efficient procurement procedures, and we need to have efficient incident response, and then a feedback. Like if one organization is attacked, then it has to also come up with an appropriate threat intelligence sharing mechanism, so that others in the sector are not affected. So I feel that we are at a time where cybersecurity risks and attacks are going to increase. Cybersecurity insurance is also something which even the government should toy with this idea, because the way the world is digitizing, you will be absolutely dependent upon IT systems for service delivery, and it is a point where you should pay adequate attention to cybersecurity. That's all what I had to say. Ashish ji, you can continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh. And now, okay, over to Yasmin.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful session. We are very thankful for your valuable time and knowledge. We feel privileged by your presence. Thank you so much. So now it's a time to get some more real facts, ideas, and solutions to fight against cyber attacks, for which I am delighted to welcome Mr. Hitesh Raul, sir, Enterprise Account Manager, as our plenary speaker. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Yasmin. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if it is visible.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Brijesh, sir, for such a wonderful insights. And also thanks to each one of you, not only for sparing your session, sparing your time for this session, but also for leading the country during the pandemic times. So without any further delay, let us understand the session topic today. So what we are going to discuss is how can Sophos help, or how can we contribute to strengthen your defenses, specifically for the government agencies. So a quick outlook at the sessions, at the topics. So what we are going to do is we are going to go through some of the cyber attacks and the threat facts in the recent years. So Brijesh sir has already covered the challenges in the government agencies. So we'll also have a look at some of the fundamental challenges that we foresee in such organizations. We'll have a look at how Sophos as a solution can help to counter these challenges. We'll have a quick look at the service offerings, wherein how we can help the organizations to investigate a threat, to detect it, to investigate it, and to remediate it. And we'll end this with a short Q&A session. But in case if you have any queries, please feel free to post it in the Q&A session on your chat window. So I was going through some of the articles, regarding to the cyber defense in Indian government agencies. And I have taken a snap of some of those, would like to share that with you as well. So this is an article that was published in August last year, which says that more than 6.0 lakh cybersecurity incidents were observed until June 2021. December says that, cyber attacks has 26,000 Indian sites in 10 months, 87,050 cyber attacks on government organizations in past 2 years. So certain has they have sent an alert to over 700 entities, alarming about the rise in the cyber attacks. And we are just on the 4th month of the year, and already 2.12 lakh cyber security incidents have been reported so far. And this is going to get worse, as this has already been discussed, wherein the war between the Ukraine and Russia, it is already creating a lot of pressure and stress on the government as well, in order to defend themselves from the state-sponsored attacks. Phishing, supply chain, are already on the top list, specifically from the Russia and Ukraine fallout. Also, our Ajit Doval has pointed out that India have been, that state actors have been targeting critical infra within India because of the Ukraine and Russia conflicts, and the list goes on and on and on. So along with this, also let us try to understand where do India and where do government agencies in India today stand in terms of the cyber attacks as compared with the global attacks. So this is the report I have pulled out this morning from the threat intelligence platform, which talks about the number of devices which are infected, in past couple of days. So the size of the sphere, the size of the circle here indicates the number of infections within the country. So this is government of India, this is India, and this is worldwide. So if you see, apart from Conti ransomware, all the other, APT28 group, APT29 group, Garmaridon group, Turla group, all of this group are the state-sponsored threat group, which attack the government agencies for their political and social benefits. And if you see, India, the size of the circle in India is equivalent to what it is there worldwide, and governments are no different. So these actors are also attacking the government verticals in all of these specific segments. So we understand the challenges, we understand the threat vectors. So just to add on to whatever Brijesh sir has discussed on the challenges, some of the fundamental challenges we foresee in the government agencies is what we have shared on the screen. So the first part of it is the data. Okay, so data is everywhere. So data could be on the user computer, it could be on the mobile phones, it could be on the cloud, it could be on the virtual platform. So protecting such sensitive and mission critical data is of prime importance and one of the challenges today. And then we have seen that this pandemic has really accelerated the digital transformation. So securing multi-cloud environments is one of the challenges, because hosting your resources onto an infrastructure which does not belong to you. In that case, you really have to ensure that the infra has to be secured, and you need to have complete visibility over the cloud platforms as well. So that is one of the challenges. Insider threat always have been one of the challenges, from decades and decades, wherein, because insider users have more information, and sharing that information with other agencies becomes an easy task for the insider user as well. And then the advanced malware attack. So this is a 0-day that we are talking about. So today, if you see, the organizations are not concerned about maybe hundreds of thousands of a lakh or 10 lakh or a crore of malwares, which are common or which are seen in other organizations. They are more concerned about one of that malware, which is designed specifically for your organization, to cripple the complete industrial system. So there is where the advanced malware attacks comes into the picture, wherein the solution required is probably something that does not only rely on the signatures, but also works on the signature-less AI ML part of it. And then we all are aware of the skilled resources, right? Because hiring a right security staff and letting him, keeping him for a longer duration of time within the organization is a pretty tough task today. And data sovereignty, as discussed, this is one of the prime factors, because government has their own rules, has their own regulations, has their own compliance policy. So it is very important that you have the complete control over your data, and it resides within a geographical boundaries. Right? So before we understand the solution that we can offer against these challenges, let us quickly have a look at what portfolio Sophos carries. So for the one who are new to Sophos, we are into cybersecurity industry for more than 35 years now. And what we do, the only thing we do is we provide cybersecurity. And it does not matter wherever your data resides, wherever the users are, whatever platform your systems are using, we provide complete end-to-end protection. And this starts right from the user, right? The next generation antivirus with peripheral control, device control, anti-ransomware prevention, anti-exploit prevention, zero-day prevention is what we give for the users. And this is again extended to the servers as well. So in case if you have servers, we protect the server, does not matter. They are Windows server, they run on the Linux platform, they run on the containers, they run on the Dockers, they are on the cloud, they are on the on-premises. We give you a complete zero-day prevention for the servers as well, which is again powered by detection and response feature along with it. In case if the users are using their mobile phones for official data, we provide with Sophos mobile device management. So in case if the mobile gets stolen, or if the users is trying to share the data, official data with someone else, we can prevent that. And this goes also for the laptops of the users where we encrypt the device. So even if the laptop or the device or the hard drive gets stolen, we ensure that the user or the attacker or the one who steals the data does not get to see anything that is there on the hard drive. And email, we all know one of the major carriers of your phishing emails, of having macros embedded into an Excel file related to the malware within attachment. Email is one of the major carrier. So we also provide with the email protection. So in case before the mails hits your user or goes outside your premises, we ensure we clean the phishing. We have a zero time of click wherein we understand if this is a phishing email or not. In case if there is any malicious attachment, we strip that attachment and send a plain email to the user. And then we extend this service also to educate the user. So PhishThreat is a phishing simulation solution which enables the users to understand what is a legitimate email and what is not, so that they proactively can take actions. They understand what links to open, how to understand if the email has been sent is from a proper domain or not. So this is a phishing threat simulation solution that we have. And we extend the protection not only to endpoint, but also to the network protection. So Sophos has one of the leading next generation firewall to protect your organizations, your data center, your disaster recovery center, your on-premises solution. Does not matter if the resources are on the premises or on the cloud. I mean, apart from having the features like web filtering, application filtering, IPS, visibility, SD-WANs, this also gives you a visibility on a TLS 1.3 traffic. So even if the traffic is encrypted, we can break the traffic, we can check the traffic for any vulnerabilities, and then we can send it across. And then we also have access points, in case for the wireless users. If, as I said, many of the customers are adapting the cloud, probably hosting on Amazon or an Azure or a GCP in this case. And the challenges we were discussing about, how to ensure that these platforms are protected. So we have a posture management solution, which can give you a complete visibility, incidents, vulnerabilities, assets, spend, topology information on your resources hosted on the cloud. Okay? And all of these, let it be the endpoints, let it be the mobiles, let it be the servers, let it be an email, a simulations, a firewall, a cloud solutions, everything can be managed on a central console, on a single pane of glass, which is Sophos Central. Now, this gives you an option of not only managing it, it also gives you a visibility across all your infra. So then you can just have all the events under single pane of glass. Okay, so now we know the challenges, the fundamental challenges. We understand the portfolio. So let us see what solution fits into the challenges that we were talking about. So when you talk about mission critical data, the firewall, the email, the mobile device management, the endpoints, as well as the servers, so as I said, it does not matter wherever the data resides. Could be in data center, DR, cloud, servers, mobile, we can prevent that. Multi-cloud environments, we have a firewall on Amazon, we have a firewall on Azure, we have a posture management solution on the cloud, we have a next generation antivirus on the cloud platform as well to secure your multi-cloud environments. When you talk about risky insider activities, the firewall provides a complete visibility on who is doing what within your network. And as far as advanced malware attack goes, every solution that Sophos gives can give you an protection against an advanced malware attacks. And the best part is it also helps to share the threat intelligence with each other. Just to give you a very simple use case, let us say I have a user running a Sophos endpoint here, right? What happens is, in case if this user gets infected because of some malware, this endpoint would let my firewall know that this is specific user onto which we have detected certain activities, and this firewall would automatically create a drop rule, not letting this user communicate to the cloud, not letting the user communicate with the servers. And then what happens is a clean process is initiated, the computer gets cleaned, information goes back to firewall, firewall revokes the rule, and this user is again allowed to communicate as per the policies defined. And all of this happens in less than 4 seconds and is completely automated process, which happens without an administrative overhead. So there is where we talk about sharing the threat intelligence between the products as well, in order to remediate a threat well in advance without an administrative overhead. And then we'll just park the last two challenges, that is skilled resources and data sovereignty, for some time. But before that, let us understand that having a best of the breed solution, having, closing the gaps in terms of mobiles, emails, user training, user awareness, campaigns, cloud and everything, does this solve the problem? So adapting the new solutions, closing the gap of vulnerability, closing the windows and doors from where the attack would happen, would lead you to something like this with a new infrastructure where you have a firewall, you have an endpoint, you have an email protection, you have an server protection, you have proxy, you have MDMs, and you have some resources on AWS and public cloud as well. But this gives rise to some more set of challenges. Number one, you have to ensure that all of the tools that you're using should be regularly updated with the growing threat landscape. You have to ensure that all of the tools are optimized and they are configured as per the best practices. With so many solutions, also you would have n number of events to manage. So firewall, for example, would generate like 100 events. Proxy would be generating hundreds of events. Your endpoint would be generating hundreds of events. And in the end of the day, if you have the consolidated events, it would be more than 10,000 or maybe hundreds of thousands if the size of the organization is pretty large. So you need to ensure that this 10,000 events or 1,000 events, you should be able to correlate those events, drill down to an incident, and then remediate it before it becomes a breach. And for that, what you need is a skilled professional. So in case if you do not have a skilled professional, it defeats the purpose of having an industry-grade appliances within your infrastructure. So there is where Sophos has a dedicated team. We call it as a managed threat response, IR team, the incident response services team, which helps, to investigate suspicious activity. It detects it and it also takes action. So just to give you an example, a very small use case. Let us assume that one of the user is having a file. Now this file as of now is not a malicious file. It is just a simple file which an attacker has planted in one of the systems. What happens is the attacker keeps a look. This stays dormant. This could stay dormant for a week, for a month, for a year as well. And what the attacker does is he basically have a look at the organization and find the right time to strike. He realizes that during Diwali vacations or New Year Eve or probably during a weekend, there is no one in the organization, and this file starts to communicate with the CNC server, taking instructions from this server on what is the next plan of action. Right? Since there is no one, the attack happens, and this file replicates in other systems, and data exfiltration starts to happen. Right? So what happens in case of Sophos MTR or incident response? This team would do a 24x monitoring and would do an investigation. So even if you are not there in the organization, you are not there, you are on a vacation or it's a Diwali evening, the moment this file starts to communicate with the CNC server, the investigation happens, this file is detected, and the team of experts lets you know that there is something suspicious happening on, shall we take actions? The moment you say, yeah, please proceed, they would take action, probably delete this file and let you know the actions they have taken. right? This team also helps you to do a posture improvement, understanding the rules, the policies, the configurations, the consulting to understand if everything has been configured properly, in case if there is any port which is open, which has to be closed. They do a case validation. They inform you about the threat notification and also help you to integrate the solution with third-party OEM solutions as well, right? So now we know the challenges. Okay, we also understand the solutions, different point solutions which can be deployed at different gates, or rather different email and different solution, different points of entry. And we also understand that you can have a skilled resources who can do an investigation, or you can outsource it to a team of experts who can do this. But then the last question comes about data sovereignty, which basically was the last challenges. So as we know that the compliances of government are pretty stringent. There are lots of rules, regulation, laws, norms that we have to ensure that the data does not fall into some foreign hands. So how do you manage that? So there is where I would like to let you know that Sophos has launched a data center in India, which is in Mumbai right now. So we ensure we comply to all the government norms, and we ensure that the data does not go outside your geographical boundaries. So this is not the only part of it. Because most of the government organizations today has to procure the solutions on the GEM platform, the government e-marketplace platform. So Sophos next generation firewall, the XG series that we have, this falls under MII category as a class 1 supplier. So we have a development team in Bangalore, we have a development team in Ahmedabad, we have a support center in India as well, where this product gets developed. So we are categorized as a class 1 supplier in Make in India clause. Other than that, other than the NGFW, we also have the next generation endpoint. That is an endpoint along with an extended detection and response, and the services, incident response services along with it. We have an email security solution and an access point on the portal as well, which you can have a look on the GEM portal. So summing it all in the end, how to build a strong ecosystem and how can we contribute with the help of the Sophos ACE, which is an adaptive cybersecurity ecosystem. So what we do, how we work, how we build an ecosystem is we have a data lake wherein we get information from Sophos sources, which is a very context-rich information. Not only we get an information from Sophos sources, but we also get information from third-party OEMs. Okay, so just to let you know, Sophos is a OEM of choice for other vendors as well. So let it be Cisco, or let it be Google, or let it be Microsoft, let it be Forcepoint. So we provide an anti-malware engine to all of these OEMs to secure the network. We get information from this as well. Then we have our own artificial intelligence. We have Sophos Labs. We have a SOC operations, and we have a threat intel platform. So all of this help to ingest the rich data into all the solutions we have. Right? It could be the software part of it, it could be the hardware part of it, the services part of it. At the same time, in case if you have your own SOC or you have a developer, with the help of an API, you can use our services to power your threat intel as well. And all of this can be managed to a single pane of glass, which we call as a Sophos Central. And this is something that is a Sophos SaaS offering, which is hosted in India. Okay. So with this, I end my slides and I leave the podium open for any type of questions.
Thank you so much, Hitesh sir, for talking about ideas and solution which can help government to ensure the protection against cyber attacks. We were indulged and we really enjoyed the session. So for Q&A, I think so people has put one question in the chat box. I am not able to see Q&As any question in the Q&As part. One question in the chat box is, sir, it is from KVRK Prasad. He's asking, who are the government authorized agencies to do cybersecurity audit?
I think, to the best of my knowledge, the big fours of the country today, ask someone that I have seen in many of the government organizations, the KPMGs and the PwCs of the world doing an audit on the government agencies. At the same time, these are the third-party vendors, but the government also have their own set of the people to do the cybersecurity audits as well.
Okay, so I think so there was one question, and other than that, everyone is asking for the PPT on mail IDs. They have sent their mail IDs. So I'll be sharing this recording of the entire session, or after the session, we'll be mailing you the thing. And I think so.
Yeah, so
Can you
I can see,
share?
yeah, so I can see one question,
Yes,
how
yes,
can
this
support
one.
help in protecting our OT systems? So, what we propose is, for a OT systems, we have a firewall which have and signatures based on the SCADA systems as well.
SCADA and IoT systems. Yeah, that can help these manufacturing and OT system to be well protected in their environment. Yeah.
So we provide protection against the well-known SCADA protocols, could be DNP, Modbus, or any of the IC standards is what we protect. At the same time, if you have a traditional or if you have a HMI running on Windows operating system, the endpoint could help those protecting those HMIs as well.
Okay, and there are two things which I see. I am like seeing this in the chat box. It's like, can you share one or two case studies in government agencies? It's from Tarafdar.
If we talk about the case studies, many of the customers today. So one thing that we have observed recently in the government sectors is, as we were discussing about the solutions. So every customer has a good blend of the solutions, but the issue happens with the security check, with the posture management, and with the incident response of those solutions. So one of the case studies is, we have seen many of the government organizations running probably the older versions of the operating systems, like which Microsoft have declared an end of life. So in such scenarios, and the reason behind that is many of the solutions and many of the software the government is using is pretty old, which does not support the newly, like Windows 10, Windows and other operating systems. So there is where it is very important to have a check on that, to understand, to have an endpoint security on top of that, and to have an incident response, because if anything goes wrong and if the team is not present at time to analyze the incidents and to remediate that incidents, it can become an havoc. Within minutes or within hours, the entire system gets tripled. The access to the critical data has been blocked, and once the data is lost, there is nothing much you can do other than restoring the backup. So having a proactive measures and taking right steps at the right time is very important, because these days, it does not, as I said, the malware remains dormant in the system for a long time. So 273 days is an average time for a file that stays dormant. So it is very important to understand that, do a reverse engineering, understand the threat aspects of it, and block it right before it converts into a threat. Yeah, so these products are available on the GEM portal. So as I've said, the firewall, the endpoint, your email security, the access points are all available on the GEM portal.
And sir, there's one more last, I think so, sir. Sarang is asking, could you let us know what is the limitation of the network firewall?
There is no limitation of a network firewall, but the use cases of network firewall is basically to protect your perimeter internally as well as externally. So, it is very important to have something on the perimeter, so that you can block many of the threats right on the perimeter, rather than those threats getting into a network and, hitting onto the user computers. And we always say, you need to have a 2-tier, 3-tier architecture, wherein you have an internal firewall and you would have an external firewall, which basically would prevent the DDoS attack, would prevent the unauthorized access to the internal resources, would help your servers which have been published outside from the OWASP top 10 attack, and so on and so forth.
And
Okay,
main thing what I see here is, I mean, most of the network firewalls designed to protect whatever traffic coming from outside to inside. What if the threat is already sitting within your environment, moving laterally? So what I feel is the limitation as from firewall in is lack of integrity or lack of integration with your existing anti-malware solution that can probably give you more insight within your environment and take coordinated action, what we uniquely do in our Sophos XG firewall. With the help of endpoint integration, with the help of threat intelligence, we can take the effective action. We can automate the action to reduce the load from IT industries.
Okay, so the Q&A session is not yet getting over. There are 2 more questions, so I think so this will be our last 2 questions. Then we'll move to the agenda. So the questions are like, government office have limitation to buy only make in India product. It's a question mark.
Yeah, so I have already answered that question.
Yeah, okay. So we have done, I think so we are done with the Q&A session, sir.
Yeah, so this is a slide that I was talking about. So next generation firewall that we have is already MII product. It's a make in India. Apart from that, we also have NGAV, email, and an access code on the chain portal. The firewall falls under MII as a class 1 supplier.
Okay. So once again, thanking to all the attendees for such an interactive, being asking so many questions and being so much active with our speaker. And thank you so much, Hitesh sir, once again. It was indeed an insightful session. So we'll move towards our next. So yeah, we'll move towards our next agenda. And before that, a small notice that we have put one feedback form link in the chat box. So it's a request to fill up that form so that you receive a token of appreciation for participating from us. So it's a kind request. You just fill up that. And so it's now time for emojography. We'll play a game called emojography as I promised in the start. So for this, I just need a help from a Sophos team. If anyone can just read out the names who will be the winner. So this game is actually, I'll just summarize what it is. You all can participate. So it's emojography. In this game, we'll be presenting you slides which will have a line of emojis, and these emojis are actually a single word which is related to cybersecurity. So you need to guess the word and solve this puzzle and write the answer in the chat box. So the winner will be the one who types the answer first in the chat box. So it's like first come first. So be ready with your fingers, upkeep typing speed you maintain on the keyboard, and let's start this game. So I'll be sharing my screen. So it's a request to the Sophos team. I think so if I share my screen, I am not able to see the chat. So please read out the name who typed the first and who is the winner for that. So I'm sharing my screen for that. Please let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Okay, Piyush Kanda is the first one to answer this.
Oh, okay. Let me start at least. Okay, that's good. But I think so. I should formally start with like, this is our first slide. Okay, so Chaitra ma'am, we have a first winner.
Piyush.
Okay. Now moving to the next slide. Please guess the word. Do we have any winner?
Somewhere. Okay, Bhavesh Patel.
Bhavesh Patel. Okay, so the second winner is Bhavesh Patel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats. Good. Yes. So please guess this word. I think so. This is the simple one for people from this industries.
Okay, we have the winner, Shri Kumar.
Okay, congrats. So the next is, okay. It is not so simple, I think so. People are trying. You can read out what are the answers. I am not able to see. That's why.
People are writing Dart as of now only agencies. Okay. Central console, targeted attack, dark web, target.
Target is just a single word, Siddiq sir. You need to join it, like solve this puzzle. Dark web. I don't see where it is dark. KPI central malware attack. No. This one is tough. Let's see who solved this.
Yasmin, you might have to need to give some clues also.
Acha, clues.
People are finding it so difficult. Then you should help them with some clues.
If I give the clue, I think so. It gets
It
too
becomes
much
very easy.
easy, yeah, because it is the emojis. Okay, the first is the first emoji. It's something related to location, like it is pointing out the location. You can try.
Still.
Cyber attack is the last geolocation. See, it's geo then location. No, the Mr. Bhavesh, location is the first word, not the location, but the word related to location. Geolocation is like geo is the first, no? Target location. Target here, the emoji for the target is last. I think so. This is getting tough. Should I move to the next slide? And I'll not reveal the answer now. I think so. I should reveal it
towards the end. We can reveal the answer. You can move on to the next one.
Okay, no problem. It's not going. Slide, it's stuck. My slide, it's not. Just give me 1 minute. But it's not happening. Anuj, if you could help me, I am not able to move forward to the next slide.
Just de-share the screen once, exit the screen sharing once, and restart it again.
Just a second, I'll do that. Now, can you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so we are here. Yeah. Okay, so this is the next word.
That's right, Devavrata. So it's Make in India.
That's good. Chaitra ma'am, who's the winner?
Devavrata.
Congratulations. Acha, if I open this chat, no, then I am not able to move. Last time also.
Okay, then you just close that. I'll
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I need to do it again. I'm so sorry, but technical glitches.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next and I think so. This is the last. No, second last. This is simple. People will answer it quickly.
So it's the fastest finger. Type fast.
First comes first, and the fastest finger.
No, you have to combine both the emojis. No.
From this, we'll get to know who are into
Not email.
chatting.
It's not encryption. No, it's not email password. Right. Email security is right. Again,
Good.
Devivrata, you have given the right answer.
So I think
Next
so.
one.
The last and the most simple one. Let's see who types first.
Right. Again, it's Devivrata.
Again.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Right?
all the winners.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed the game. Thank you so much for participating. One was difficult, and that was a local data center. The first was, I gave the hint of locations. It was local, and the middle emoji was relating to data. And then there was a center. So that was that. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll just see the chats now. Thank you. Okay. Once again, there's a feedback form. Please make sure you fill up the form for all the winners. Firstly, congratulations. You'll be getting a token of, a reward for participating and winning the game. And secondly, for participating in the event, we are also providing you a token of appreciation. So please make sure you fill up that form so that we have your courier address and we send that. So now it's time to move forward, and this will be the last of our session. So now introducing Regional Manager Sophos, Mr. Isaac Patel, for presenting a vote of thanks. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Yasmin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking out your precious time and to gain the knowledge. I believe we are able to give you the knowledge what is needed. With our solution, we can make sure that you can secure your environment. Wherever the data is residing, we can secure. Hitesh has covered majority of the points. So let me just bring few points which will help you move forward. Sophos' Firewall is Make in India product. So we are MII Class 1 certified product. So we are available on GEM. If anything is needed, you can get in touch with the respective location. For Mumbai and Goa, you can get in touch with me. Anupam Chakravarti is available for Gujarat. Rohan Vishpuria is available for rest of Maharashtra. So you can get in touch with us for any queries with regard to the product. So in coming to the end point, we are now available in India. Their data center is based out of India, so data will not move out of India. So that's the compliance what you have. We can take care of that as well. So we believe that we are able to give you information what is needed on to secure your network wherever the data is residing, and make your days going forward more secure and happy. Thank you everyone for your time. Take care.
Thank you so much, Isaac sir, for presenting vote of thanks. So once again, thanking Brijesh sir for his valuable time and knowledge, thanking Hitesh sir for his enlightening and engaging presentation, thanking entire Sophos team for providing us this platform. It was indeed and a successful session we had today, and I hope our participants, our attendees have enjoyed the session and enjoyed the game. So just a small once again a notice to people, please do fill up the feedback form. Our team will get back to all the winners for their address and all. So winners can share up. We do have your numbers, so we'll just call up. SMEVenture team will be following up for that. So with this is your host Yasmin Khan signing out for the day. Thank you.